So keep reading this text, commentary on Awakening Night, 93 I think. In guise of Brahma, Indra, Vishnu, and that of fierce Rudra forms, they perform the compassionate dance with act, bringing peace to the being. 94. For those who dishearten on existent road, for their respite, the true wisdom that lead to the great vigil have been taught. They are, however, not ultimate. 95. As long not exalted by the Buddhas, so long the disciples will remain in a bodily state of wisdom, sworn and intoxicated by absorption. 96. When exalted, then in diverse forms, they will become attached to others' welfare, and if they gather stores of merit and wisdom, they will attain the Buddha fully awakening. 97. Because the propensities for two obscurations exist, these propensities are referred to as seed of existence. From the meeting of the seeds with condition, the shoot of cycle of existence is produced. 98. The path revealed by the saviors of the world, which follow the patterns of beings' mentalities, differ variously among the diverse people due to the diverse methods employed by the Buddha. 99. The instructions differ as the performed and as the vast. On some occasion, an instruction is characteristic by both. Through such diverse approaches are taught, they are all equal in being empty and non-dual. 100. The retentions, powers, and the bodhisattva's levels, as well as the perfection of Buddha, the omniscient one taught this to be the aspect of the awakening mind. So we are talking about bodhicitta mind, conventional bodhicitta. So when we talk about bodhicitta mind, right, we have conventional bodhicitta and ultimate bodhicitta. So conventional bodhicitta is, what is the definition of conventional bodhicitta? What is the definition of the conventional bodhicitta is conceptual mind. Ultimate bodhicitta is non-conceptual mind. Okay, so we have to understand this. Conventional bodhicitta is conceptual mind, and ultimate bodhicitta is non-conceptual mind, direct perceiving emptiness. So this. Now, when we talk about bodhicitta, right, what is the most? What is which oppose the bodhicitta mind? So, like, there's two things come together, right? Contradiction, right? Like when we say like this, oppose the light, like the contradiction. So when bodhicitta mind oppose is self-judging mind, okay? We have to understand. Ultimate bodhicitta mind oppose is grasping mind. So grasping mind oppose ultimate bodhicitta. Self-judging mind oppose conventional bodhicitta mind. You understand? So, so therefore, conventional bodhicitta mind and grasping mind cannot go together. So self-judging mind cannot go together. Like light and dark cannot go together. Grasping mind and ultimate bodhicitta cannot go together because oppose each other. Right? So when we are studying about the bodhicitta mind, we are trying to subdue or oppose the self-judging mind. So this is the old Buddha, Indian master Atisha, Shantideva, Lama Tsongkhapa, all the Kadamba, just same. Everyone tell you exactly one point. If you ask all these great masters, they give you same answer, self-judging mind. If you ask Adisha, self-judging mind. Buddha, whatever, they all tell you the same thing, no different, okay? So you understand, right, this one? So Buddha said in the sutra, so I will read the sutra, all the suffering and evils in the world arise from now here as but the evil thought of self-judging yourself. So that means self-judging mind opposes the bodhicitta mind. And Atisha said, Indian master like Atisha, one of the greatest masters who came to Tibet in 11th century and he spread many dhammas. We should place the blame for all our troubles and suffering on nothing else, our own self-judging attitude, and we should always remind ourselves of the kindness we receive from others. If we practice this, not only we ourselves become truly happy, but there's no end of the happiness we can gain others. So we will get not only temporary happiness, but ultimate happiness. Because the basis of the judging other is very valid foundation. And the basis of the, how can I say, basis of the self-judging mind is invalid base. So therefore, if you distinguish between these two kinds of mind, bodhicitta mind and the self-judging mind, the base are totally different. One is based on the false base. One is truly based. So truly based can go further and further. There's no end of the end of compassion, end of loving kindness. It will go more you, how can I say, more you concentrate, more you focus, it will go further and further. There's no end of the happiness. You know what I mean? If we truly think about the basis of the self-judging mind is invalid and not very stable. You know what I mean? It's just self-judging mind basis fluctuating all the time. There's no guarantee. If you have self-judging mind and if you really investigate the basis of the self-judging mind, it's just like false. It's not really stable base. So therefore, is it possible we can achieve bodhicitta mind, opposing this self-judging mind? And one of the Kadamba Geshe master, very Chengawa, Kadamba, Kadamba is the, when Adisha came, then Kadamba tradition started in Tibet. So Geshe Chengawa said, when we are sick, nothing else cause and sickness but the self-judging mind. When we face the suffering of old age, nothing else makes us old. Self-judging mind, taking away the physical strength and beauty. When we lose our wealth, it is not actually a thief or the robber that takes it away, but one self-judging mind robs us of it. When we die, no evil spirit takes away the life, but the evil thought of self-judging killing us. All these masters are exactly the same point. Now, not different. You know what I mean? And Shantideva said, however cruel the external evils may be to others, if we surrender ourselves to them sincerely, they will become friendly toward us and even help us. We can make friends with the external enemy. Because the external enemy is no 100% enemy. There's no 100% enemy, 100% friend, 100% stranger. All are changing. Enemy changed to friend, friend changed to enemy, stranger became enemy, enemy became stranger. This we can see all the time. Oh, our own life, my own life too, have some enemy, friend, enemy. It's just fluctuating all the time. No permanent enemy, no permanent friend, no permanent stranger. They're all temporary. You know what I mean? So therefore, so external enemy and internal enemy, self-judging is internal enemy. External enemy, we can do many things. You may rely on the powerful man and hide. Enemy here, go to Brisbane. Enemy here, go to Sydney. You can do many things. But self-judging mind, you can't do like internal enemy always with us. It's a different quality. So there are the friendly, and Shantideva says, try to become friendly with the demons of the self-judging mind. It will harm us more. Therefore, it is absolutely wrong if we allow us mind to remain under the influence of this evil thought. Why should we not fight against it? So that means conventional bodhicitta mind. Use the conventional. Then Lama Tsongkhapa says, judging ourselves is a source of lose. Self-judging mind, self-judging mind. Judging other is the source of all gain. So that is bodhicitta mind. You gain bodhicitta mind, then you defeat the self-judging mind, and then when you defeat the self-judging mind, you get more and more happiness. Temporary, altogether all. We see very clearly, like if you're a very selfish person, then you suffer a lot, and people don't like, So it's very clear. You don't have, even non-religious, we can prove like this. So we can defeat self-judging mind and achieve bodhicitta mind. This is why Buddha said in the Jakarta, the Jakarta means such a life story of the Buddha, historical life story of Buddha in India with the Jakarta. At the Monam festival in Dharamsala, every time, all the abbot have to read the Jakarta text, story of Buddha from first to the 15 days. So his story is so big. So one Jakarta tell about, in this tell about bird. Bird generate bodhicitta. Human being no problem. Bird generate bodhicitta during forest fire in India. A long time ago in India, there's forest fire in India. Because of the fire, many creatures were being burned to death. The bird, overwhelmed by great compassion, generated bodhicitta and flew to a nearby lake. There's a lake in India, nearby lake, where he dropped his wings into the water. Returning to the forest, he flapped his wing furiously over the fire, where there's fire in India, fire. By the power of this holy and virtuous attitude, it is said that these few drops of water caused the entire forest fire to be extinguished. So it depends on attitude, this bird. So birds are generating bodhicitta mind, why not for human beings? So that's one point I want to like to. Now here 97 we are talking about because the propensities for the two obscurations, right? Two obscurations are obscurations to the liberation is delusion. Obscurations to the omniscient mind is knowledge, or the imprint of delusion. Two obscurations. So obscurations to liberation is delusion, fundamental ignorance. Obscurations to omniscient mind is knowledge, or the imprint of delusions. These are obscurations. These are two obscurations. So we have to know how to develop delusion in our daily life. How delusion arises, right? You have to know the structure, how delusion arises. So delusion arises because of fundamental ignorance, which believe to be self to be exist inherently, independently, without depending on the aggregates, 18 elements, just independent self all the time. So because of this independent self-grasping, we see good is very good, very bad, good, bad, ugly, right, wrong, all this we discriminate, and mind become very, how can I say it, like a jewel mind, because self-grasping mind, you see extremely good, extremely bad, right, wrong, good, bad, we discriminate. All these delusion arise. So how we develop the delusions? Because of fundamental ignorance, which believe self to be exist independently, inherently, without depending on the aggregates and 18 elements, just independent self. Because of this independent self, we believe there's good, bad, right, wrong, all these delusion arises. But first point is propensity, seed. Seed is the most important thing. It is the main cause of the delusions. No seed, no other condition arise. So when we talk about delusion errors, must have seed, right? So generally speaking, what we need is 6 things. Depend on the seed, propensity seed, object, number 2, and then how can I say object, and then influence of detrimental trait or something like this, influence of the, and then verbal stimulate, habituation, and mental faculty which keep in your mind. You think this is the keeping like permanent, not let them go. So let me talk about seed. Right? Propensity means seed. No seed, it will not grow anything, right? You just want plant the mango, you need seed. First seed, right? So that seed is like propensity. So whenever we do, we think, thought, emotion arise, we always plant the seed on the mind. So that seed is main cause to arise delusion or the positive or whatever, seed. Right? Seed. Then condition arises. So seed there, right? If there's no condition, then even you plant the seed, no condition of the cooperative cause and condition, water, moisture, it will not grow. Seed alone cannot grow the fruit, right? You need cooperative causes and condition, which is water, all the moisture, everything. So similarly, when we plant the seed in the mind, right, we also need condition to ripen that seed. So condition is the object, right? Object. If I tell you some, right now we are in this meditation room, right? We have no object of food, no desire for the food to eat, because there is no food. When you go to the food supermarket, then lots of food smell, An object there, and then you feel like, oh, this is mine, I want to eat this, like that. So object is what we call the form, smell, taste, and tangible, object. So then object there, then the influence by the detrimental, right? That's harm you, right? And then verbal stimulate. If you talk about negative, plant the seed all the time. If you talk about positive seed. And then habituation. So that habit remain in the mind. And if you repeat again and again, then that's like habituation. And then your mental faculty carry in your mind and believe this is good. So there are propensity, right? 6 things to arise delusion. First, base, object. So base, yeah. Base is seed. Object you contact, right? Influenced by detrimental, then right? And verbal habituation, verbal stimulate, and then habit. Then mental faculty will carry and believe, oh, this is good, I want to keep this. And then all this delusion arise. You know what I mean? So that's very important. So when so right now we're talking about how delusion arises. So self-grasping arises. Self-grasping arises, then we have to use the antidote, right? Ultimate bodhicitta mind. Self-charging arises, then we have to use the antidote, conventional bodhicitta mind. Right? Conventional bodhicitta mind. So conventional bodhicitta mind is antidote to the self-charging mind. Ultimate bodhicitta mind is antidote to the grasping mind. So these two bodhicitta. Now in the text, there are some said different types of bodhicitta mind, we go with the wishing bodhicitta mind, bodhicitta mind with equanimity, bodhicitta, ripening bodhicitta mind with completely purity. So there's some different categories of bodhicitta mind. So the wishing bodhicitta mind means, remember we discussed about the 5 Mayana paths. Mayana path of accumulation and preparation is ordinary Mayana path. So these Bodhisattva, fully realization of bodhicitta mind, but not yet fully realization of the emptiness. So therefore, their bodhicitta mind is called the wishing bodhicitta mind. Wish to achieve fully understanding of the emptiness. That's one category of bodhicitta mind. Now, after this, remember then equanimity bodhicitta mind. So that is from first bhumi to the 7th bhumi. We discussed 10 bhumi and 10 perfection last week, right? So first bhumi, direct realization of the emptiness, right? And then through 7 bhumi, they have great love, great compassion, a great understanding of the bodhicitta mind. And therefore, their bodhicitta mind is called the equanimity bodhicitta mind. Then 8, 9, 10 bhumis, bodhicitta mind is called the ripening bodhicitta mind. Because these bodhisattvas are very close to ripen the Buddhahood. They're not yet Buddha, but they are going to be Buddha very, very soon. So their bodhicitta mind is called the ripening bodhicitta mind. And then after 10 bhumi, then you become enlightened beings, right? Then you receive the 4 kayas, 4 bodies of the Buddha. And your bodhicitta has become completely purity. So there's some category, wishing bodhicitta mind, equanimity bodhicitta mind, ripening bodhicitta mind, with completely purity bodhicitta mind. 4 categories. Now, some point due to the generation of the bodhicitta mind, in the text like sutra, they will there's a bodhicitta mind like king-like bodhicitta mind, like fairy-like bodhicitta mind, and like shepherd-like bodhicitta mind. The Shakyamuni Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha generate bodhicitta mind is king-like bodhicitta mind. Because first king, and then he will help all the subject become king. Right? So Shakyamuni Buddha, first he became enlightenment, and then he generated to help other sentient beings. So that kind of bodhicitta mind is called the king-like bodhicitta mind. And then this is the extraordinary bodhicitta mind is shepherd-like bodhicitta mind. So that is the bodhicitta mind generated by the Chandrasik Buddha of compassion. I will not become enlightenment until all beings become enlightenment. Just like shepherd, they first take care of the animals and then, you know what I mean. So that kind of due to the generating or attitude, so shepherd-like bodhicitta mind. And then fairy-like bodhicitta mind. Do you know what I mean, the fairy? Fairy drama, all people go together, cross the ocean, same like, generating all sentient beings, and me became enlightenment together. So that's kind of like different bodhicitta mind. Okay. So now we are talking about the Mayana teaching, right? What is the unique quality of the Mayana? What's the difference between Mayana and Hinayana? Both are incredible path. But what's the difference between Mayana and Hinayana path? So in the sutra, Mayana, now Bodhicitta is Mayana, right? Mayana. So in the sutra, so number one quality, the greatness of observance. Greatness of observance and greatness practice. Great practice, great wisdom, great joyful effort, great skillful method, great accomplishment, great deed. 7 unique quality make Mayana path very different from the Hinayana path. So when we talk about the Buddha, the great observance means bodhicitta mind. Object is all sentient beings without exception. Great observance. Great practice, it is practice for oneself and other. Remember, when we practice bodhicitta mind, 2 aspirations for oneself, aspirations for other. It is great practice because practice oneself and other. Great wisdom, understanding wisdom of phenomena and person. Embrace these 2 wisdom, emptiness of the phenomena and emptiness of person. That's the great wisdom. Great joyful effort, because according to sutra, right, it will take 3 aeons to become enlightenment, and you have to create lots of merit and wisdom, right? But the joyfully doing this, you know what I mean? Great skillful method. So Mayana, remember we already discussed about 2 obscurations. Obscurations to the liberations and obscurations to the omniscient mind, fully abandoned by the Mayana path. If you are on the Hinayana path, you can't purify the obscurations of the omniscient mind. Obscurations of the omniscient mind is imprint of the delusions, habituations. These are subsided by the direct understanding of the emptiness of the phenomena and the emptiness of the person. So that's the great, how can I say, it is a great skillful method, great accomplishment. Mayana, when you practice 2 types of bodhicitta mind, right? Conventional bodhicitta mind lead you to form body, rupakaya. Ultimate bodhicitta lead you to dharmakaya, wisdom body. So 2 bodies and 4 bodies they achieved 10 power qualities of the Buddha. So that is a great accomplishment. And great deeds, when you cross all the Mayana path, what is your job is, you want to help sentient beings all the time. You know, when the group, people or whatever, you're helping all the sentient beings. So that's a great deed. So you understand 7 unique quality of the Mayana path. So that's very important. This difference between Mayana path and Hinayana. When you practice bodhicitta mind, you must understand all these qualities. And then now self-judging mind we talk about, right? Self-judging mind. So I don't have to tell too much, but if you know that, if you have, like, if your mind is controlled by delusion, afflictive emotion. There are many, many disadvantages. You know what I mean? I don't have to tell everything, but I can tell you some important things is taught by the Maitreya Buddha in his text. Number one, if you are very self-judging and grasping mind, it will firstly disturb yourself and others. Destroy yourself and others. Secondly, it will completely destroy your self-confidence. Self-confidence. You lose your self-confidence. Thirdly, it will decrease your virtues and good qualities. You know what I mean? If you are influenced by this mind, there are many, many disadvantages, but some important thing is influenced by self-judging and grasping mind. So it will decrease your virtues, decrease your good qualities. You know what I mean? Number four, it will hamper your livelihood. You know what I mean? If you're selfish and maybe you can fight with your boss and you lose your job and you know what I mean? Hamper your livelihood, which you don't want. And it will also cause us to despite or dispute with the teacher and holy. You don't believe in these things like this. It will also cause us to bad reputation because of the self-judging, and then you fight or you do many bad things, right? And your reputation will no good, which you don't want, huh? Everybody wants good reputation, right? And then also it will cause you to lose your knowledge. Whatever you gain, your good knowledge will lose. It will also lose, not to gain the knowledge in the future. You know what I mean? It will cause many, many mental suffering, mentally depressed because of self-judging mind. Once you have self-judging mind, very, very narrow-minded, and you cannot see other side. This mind becomes very narrow, and then this will disturb your mind. Mentally, you will suffer. So you don't want this, but we are very different from other people. We have instruction, so we know what is the advantage of practicing bodhicitta mind. What is the disadvantage of self-judging mind? So your self-judging mind first, no problem, other you will suffer. That's the number one point. Nobody wants to suffer, but you will suffer first, and then cause others to suffer. So there are many, 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 many disadvantages. But these are some important point explained by the Maitreya Buddha in the text of the text. I can't remember. I know the Tibetan, not the English, but it's a huge text. So in the text, many, many chapters, but one chapter will explain all the disadvantage of afflictive emotions and delusions. So now you understand bodhicitta mind. You understand the convention of bodhicitta mind. Now you have to meditate regularly every day. You don't have 5-10 minutes. Just think about all this like analytical meditation. You know what I mean? Analytical meditation, right? What is the definition of bodhicitta mind? Analytical meditation. What is the what is the definition of bodhicitta mind? Then you analyzing your mind. This is the definition of Bodhicitta. What is the object of Bodhicitta? What is engaging? All analytical meditation. Finally, then you come into one point and single point of concentration. Oh, single point of analytical are finished. Then you singly pointed. Oh, wish all sentient beings from the liberation from the cycle of existence. Then you don't have to analyze. Just single-pointedly concentrate. Just a couple of minutes, you know what I mean. If you do this every day, then you extend 5 minutes, maybe next year 10 minutes. Otherwise, it will be very, very difficult life, you know what I mean. One of the very Kungdang Rinpoche is one of the most. Our teacher will always repeat this all the time when we are going to receive teaching. His Holiness many Kungdang Rinpoche, one of the greatest masters in Tibet from the Ngawang monastery. So his poem, teacher repeat all the time when we go, very often. Yeah, his poem is something like that. His writing is amazing writing, his teaching, book like this. So one poem is about, I spent 20 years without thinking Bodhicitta in Dharma. 20 years with, I'm going to, you know what I mean. Remaining 10 years, I have failed. And then this is real my life story, So we shouldn't be like this, We practice all the time because we are practitioners, We are not like other ordinary people. We have many instructions and we can practice. It will help you as well as other people. Help many people, you know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying? Okay, very good, thank you.